The Yidden were in the Midbar, says the Pasuk, and there was a person, Mekoishesh Eitzim. Either he was gathering the wood, he was actually chopping the wood, he was Mimchal Shabbos, he was not keeping the Shabbos. And what happened? They brought him to Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu didn't know what to do. Chazal say, we knew that they chayv mitzvah. Of course, he was deserving of the death penalty, but we didn't know exactly how to give him, which kind of death penalty to give. And the Torah continues and explains that they did give him. They gave him skila. And that was it. The Medrash says that this was a terrible, terrible embarrassment. There was a terrible embarrassment to the Jewish nation, that there was one Yid who wasn't keeping Shabbos. More than that, says the Medrash, this was only the second Shabbos in the Midbar. Second Shabbos? What do you mean? We're after the Meraglim. It's already the second year. It's after the Mishkan was built already. They were sending the spies. It's already a year later. No, the Medrash says this story happened way earlier. It doesn't belong over here. It belongs way earlier. It happened on the second Shabbos when Klal Yisrael just came out of Mitzrayim, and it was the second Shabbos after Kriyas Yamsuf. We know that right after that, the Yidden didn't have water, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave them a few mitzvahs. One of them was Shabbos, and they're supposed to keep Shabbos, and it was the second Shabbos in the Midbar, and already there was a Chilul Shabbos. That's terrible. It's a terrible embarrassment for the Jewish nation. Rav Shimon Schwab says, what does that mean? It was one person out of the entire Klal Yisrael. One person was lax in his keeping of Shabbos. Okay, one person. That means that it's a terrible embarrassment for Klal Yisrael. Furthermore, Shimon Schwab says, if you pay attention, Chazal point this out, and it's clear from the text of the Torah in many places, whenever the Torah describes Klal Yisrael in a negative way, the Torah says the Am, the nation. When it's a positive way, the Torah says Bnei Yisrael. Bnei Yisrael, Klal Yisrael, is a term of kavod, of honor. And when the Klal Yisrael is deserving, we're called Bnei Yisrael. And here that's what it says. Vayu Bnei Yisrael b'midbar. The sons of Yisrael, the sons of Israel were in the midbar, and there was a man who wasn't keeping Shabbos, who was violating the Shabbos. So if the Torah is trying to point out the embarrassment, trying to point out the negative aspect of the fact that there was one who was not, why does it say Bnei Yisrael then? It says Rav Shimon Schwab. One question answers the other. Because Bnei Yisrael were on such a high level at this point, they just left Mitzrayim. They just witnessed the greatest miracle. They just started getting mitzvahs. They got the mitzvah of Shabbos. So it's like a white, beautiful white robe, says Rav Schwab, and a small dirt, a small piece of dirt, a small blemish on this beautiful stands out so much because they were Bnei Yisrael at this point. So that's why even the smallest blemish shows itself, and it looks very terrible. It's a terrible embarrassment for Bnei Yisrael. So therefore, on this beautiful white robe, clean, even a tiny blemish, even a tiny spot of dirt stands out so much, and it's a terrible embarrassment. I remember when I was in yeshiva, Rav Isaac Osman, one of our yeshivas, Zechat Tzadik Livrocha, he said over, if I'm not mistaken, from Usher Kalman Baron, the Rav of Ponevezh. He said as follows. He says, if you look in Shemona Esrei, the word Mehera appears a few times in the various brachas. Mehera, quickly. We ask Hashem should do something quickly. Mehera. So there's one bracha where the word Mehera is repeated 3 times. This doesn't matter if you're Ashkenaz, Sfarad, or Sfaradi, the same thing. It's repeated 3 times. It's in the bracha of Alam Alshinim. When we talk about the non-believers and the people who are terribly dangerous for the Jewish nation, we say Hashem should destroy them, should remove them from our midst. Mehera, Mehera, Mehera. Look in the bracha, you'll see 3 times it says the word Mehera. It says, why over here does it say the word Mehera 3 times? And he gave a mashal. He said, imagine there's a farmer who lives on his farm. He gets up early in the morning, he goes out to work, his children go out to work, his wife works also on the farm, he's busy with the animals, with the dirt, with the plants, and they come back sometime in the afternoon to eat lunch. They're all dirty, they're wearing the dirty clothing, and they sit down to lunch, and while they're eating lunch, a pig from the farm walks into the house while they're eating, tries to grab something to eat. They say, hey, get out. Yeah, and they calmly remove the pig from their house. They're in the middle of eating lunch. It's not so pleasant. But imagine you're in the palace of a king where everything is clean and everything is clear and the soldiers are standing at attention. The king is about to walk out and a pig runs into the palace. How quickly are they going to get rid of that pig? In a second they're going to get rid of it. Mehera, Mehera, Mehera. These people do not belong in Klal Yisrael. We're Bnei Yisrael. We're a nation where we're supposed to retain a level of honor. And in this nation we have Elam Hashinim, we have the Minim. Those people do not belong in the Klal Yisrael even for 1 second. So this says, Rav Shimon Schwab is the explanation of why it's called Bnei Yisrael. And in Bnei Yisrael there was one person who wasn't keeping Shabbos. It's a terrible blemish, it's a terrible embarrassment. So much we have to try and upkeep the level of ourselves, every Yid individually, and as a nation we have to try and keep the level, but we have to be worried, we have to also be cognizant of those who are not keeping, and try to affect them in a positive way. Of course, the best possible way is to try and affect them in a positive way, to come to the level that Klal Yisrael demands, because our nation has to be an honorable nation. It has to be Bnei Yisrael, and in this Bnei Yisrael, we cannot tolerate the fact that we have people in the Bnei Yisrael who are damaging the reputation. It's embarrassing for Bnei Yisrael. Shabbat Shabbos. Please don't forget to subscribe. You'll get the video every week by subscribing. Put a like. Thank you very much. Good Shabbos.